Hi, so this is part 2 of the Paper Bag Mini album. This will be us creating the cover right here, covering the chipboard and how I do it. Part 1 is of putting these pages together and adding it into the hinge. So let's get started for the cover. So these are just scrap chipboards that I have that a friend gave me. So this is what I will be using. You can use medium weight chipboard. You can use cereal boxes. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut our chipboard down to 7.5 by 5 7/8. So I'm just going to bring my cutter up here. So I want it to be 7.5. By 5 7/8. So now here we go. Have our scrap pieces. And make sure you save these because you can use these for another album. Not for this one because you will. Okay. Okay. And you're going to need another piece of chipboard. Because you're going to want to make your spine. So you're still going to cut it at 7.5. And you're going to, so our spine piece is 2.5 inches. So I'm gonna make it to 3.25. Perfect. Okay, so now that I have my pieces, my 3 pieces of chipboard, I can move this out of the way. We're going to, so this is going to be our spine. This will be our spine piece. And these are going to be our cover. And so we know, so now get craft cardstock or whatever you plan on covering the album. You can do it in white or black. I chose craft because it goes with, it matches the paper bags. So, what I like to start with is I get my 1/2-inch tape, and I'm going to just tape the edge as close as I can to the edge. And I'm just gonna tape it And now I'm going to get my second piece and I'm going to line it up to the end of the score tape. This will make one long piece. Now, what I'm going to do, I like to line my edges up. So first, I'm just going to line it up to here, and I'm going to want to go about here to make my line. This will help line up my cover. So you want about a 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch length. So I'm just going to make so now I'm going to line it across. Okay, so this will help when we line up our chipboard pieces. So I just drew a 1/2 inch line because this is how we're going to line up evenly our spine and our covers. So now we need to add score tape all across our spine. And I am not shy with my tape because I want to make sure that this will hold down, because this is going to hold all of my pages, and I embellish a lot, so I make sure I use strong tape. You can use wet glue. I've never used wet glue, but I have a lot of this score tape on hand because I sell it on my online craft store that I have on Etsy. So this is just easily accessible for me. So that's why I use score tape. And I'm just going to get my 1/4 inch tape. Really want to make sure it is all adhered down nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same with all my other pieces. And I have about 2-inch tape that I also like to use. I have 2-inch tape that I also like to use, but sometimes it's hard to get it down evenly, so this just get my 1 inch that I have. And I know that on Amazon you can get the sheets that they have. They have sheets that you can use to, it's like one big sheet, and it's a lot easier than having to piece it together like so. Really want to make sure I get these edges. Just want to make sure that it's all covered. Okay, So now, get my second piece. I'm just going to use my 1 inch because it's a lot easier cutting wise. Sorry, and I know most of y'all don't want to be watching me add tape, but if you're doing this along with me, you're probably also adding tape. So I know sometimes when I see people do tutorials and they do it off, they do things prior to it. So I mean, it's just a couple I feel like I'm kind of getting behind. I like the ones that kind of go along with you. I know Tamara does that. She also has a shop called Country Craft Creations, and I know that she kind of does it along with you, which is nice because you can kind of follow along and not fall behind. So this is my first kind of tutorial, so I hope I'm doing okay and I'm explaining everything very well. I only did this paper bag. I did it one time, but I did a vertical one, so I did it long ways instead of I did it a little bit longer than this one. This one I used different paper bags, so it was smaller and it was longer, but I kind of just followed the baseline of that and kind of just figured it out myself on how to put it together. So, I'm just gonna make sure I don't have any tape hanging out. Let's see. Alright, so here we go. So now you want to start with your spine. And it doesn't really matter where you put the spine piece, because our paper is still bigger than, our than the length of what our spine's gonna be, which gives us enough room to cover. So you don't have to find the middle or anything, which makes things a lot easier. Oh no. Alright. Stow these pieces away. So now I'm going to get my spine and I'm just going to line it up to that line that we made. Just, oops. That works. So we're going to line it up to the line. And now, let's see. So I have this pre-made 2 chipboards added together. This helps me to make sure that I have the right spacing between my my covers, so that it won't crack my paper and it's not like butting up against it. It gives it room to move, to open and close. So that is just what I do. So let's get this tape off. our last piece of tape and grab my chipboard measurement. I am also going to just add it to, make sure I'm pushing that up against, and here we go. Okay, now we move on to our second cover. Now I get my chipboard piece, butt it up against there, and measure it. Now that I have my pieces, I'm just going to get my brayer and just make sure these are adhered down. Okay. And now I'm just going to just cut the edges off because I don't need this much just eyeballing it. Now I'm going to just miter my corners. Okay. So miter my corners. Now I'm just going to add my adhesive. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch here. And I'll add a 1/4 inch on the edge here. Add the rest of my tape. Get my 1/4 inch tape and add it along the top here. Alright, now I'm going to start with my long piece. I'm just going to bend it. That way it's a little bit easier to, and I'm going to lightly go over it this little score line with my little score tool that I have. Okay. Now I'm just going to, now you just want to peel off the tape. I'm sorry if I'm not talking loud enough. So just peel off the tape. Just start from the middle and just make my way out. There we go. Do the same thing with the other side. So I'm just going to bend it. I'm going to make my way from one side to the other. Now I'm going to get my bone folder and make sure that you tuck in these corners. It helps so that bulk doesn't go, it helps alleviate bulk. Be a nice little fold. So let's see if you can see it. Sorry. It tucks in right there. Tuck in that edge. So now you're gonna do your sides. So take off your glue and okay. Now you have, gently fold your, and now you have your cover. So now what we're gonna do is 2 pieces of cardstock. And we're just gonna cut this. So we're gonna cut it to, let's see, let me find. So we're gonna cut it to, let's do 7 inches. So I cut my pieces together so that I know they're even. So you're gonna do 7. Get my papers lined up. And I'm just gonna take off a tad. So I'm just gonna take off about, let's see, I'm gonna take off about 1/4 of an inch. So now I have my 2 cover pieces that are going to cover my spine. And what I like to do is, first and foremost, I like to make sure that I add tape up to the edge of where it's gonna fold, because if you put your paper on and you don't have these edges secured and you close it, it could bubble up the paper, and that doesn't look very nice. So I use my thick tape here. Make sure I get a good hold. Okay, there we go. So I got my edges down. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut off another inch on one of my papers. So cut off. So I cut off about an inch, and that works perfectly. So now I'm just going to adhere my, take down my edges here. And you can use 1/2 inch. I just can't seem to find where any of my tape is at. I always lose stuff while creating a project for some reason. On my 1/2 inch. Okay. Now I'm going to take off my, so first I'm going to do my long piece. So I have my cover. Take off. So, my long piece, yep. Okay. So now I'm just going to line this up where I want it. So there is fine. And now I'm going to add okay, so now I'm going to take off my second piece. So now I just want to line it up with the top and the top of this. So top and top. Now, just going to get my brayer and make sure that this is adhered down. Okay, now our paper is going to be pretty stiff right here. So you want to carefully, and I'm barely pressing down, so barely pressing down with my bone folder. I want to get these lines moving. I don't want to move it very quickly because, so slowly, because I don't want to rip my spine. So just carefully helping it. So slowly. Slowly work these corners right here, okay? So, and now we have our cover. So now what we're going to want to do is get our piece, our hinge, our actual book, and we're going to stick it in our spine now. We're going to connect it to our hardcover. So this part, I just eyeball it, and you just want to space it evenly between that looks good to me. So now I'm just going to actually push it down. I'm going to adhere it. And now we have our paper bag mini album. And that is how you make our paper bag mini album. It's really simple. And once you get the hang of it, you can continue doing it. You can make it any size. You can use any paper bags that you would like, but it's pretty simple. So thank you so much for watching. Part 3 will be just of me decorating, adding patterned paper. Thanks for watching.